Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. Welcome to today's show of Empowering Women in Chiropractic. I have a guest today, so I'm super excited. Dr. Tammy Hartman will be joining us. Tammy's going to share her journey into chiropractic. She's been in practice for over 20 years. She'll give us the details on that. She's going to share her journey in chiropractic in terms of her personal journey, but also we want to get a look and feel on how she's practicing because she is focusing on pediatrics. So, thank you, big thank you to ChiroSecure to putting those shows on. This is all about sharing and empowering women in chiropractic. Hi, Tammy.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Awesome. So great to see you. So, Tammy, we've known each other for 15 years plus, probably,
Long
which
time.
is a long time. And, we've obviously don't live in the same country, but we've stayed in touch throughout the year. So I have a good understanding, I think, of how you're practicing, but I think it'd be great to share that with people. But first, you had an interesting journey when it comes to your health, and you had to put all stop, as we say, and really take care of yourself. So I'll let you explain what happened because I think it's important for us doctors to know that we can't take our health for granted as well. And we do a lot for our health, and we're in this field because we are health minded. We live the chiropractic lifestyle. So it must have been extra challenging for you because you were already doing all of that. So I'll let you, run with that in terms of telling the audience where you practice and that challenging journey that you spend the last few years navigating.
Okay. That would be the last 8 to 9 years I've been navigating that. I've been in practice for 26 years. Started, uh, I started on my own, but I had bought into a pediatric practice, and that was in 1998. And I was on my own for about 3 years. I doubled that practice within the first year. Pediatrics and prenatal care was always my thing, which is why I think it grew so well and became so successful because I never talked about anything else. I didn't have back pain ads. My focus, my intention, my message was always that. Uh, Around the 3 year mark, I was quite busy. I needed an associate, hired an associate. We grew the practice again because that's what happens when you add more capacity, right? The universe abhors a vacuum, so it fills up, which was a beautiful thing. We had a great run, shall I say. My brother also became a chiropractor within that time frame, and then he joined the practice too. So then there was a time where I had two associates, the 5 staff members. We were having the time of our lives. My one associate then moved back to Canada, and it was my brother and myself. And then I met my soon to be husband. We got married. We had a couple of kids, and that's when uh, I started to see my health decline. I'm so thankful that I had my brother still with me as another doctor in the practice. I don't know if I would have a practice today without that. But what wound up happening was it really started with crazy fatigue. Uh, that it was I felt so weak, and it's amazing what fatigue will do to you, especially if you are a high energy person, which I've been my whole life. You actually start to question, at least I did, uh, if you should even still be a chiropractor. I started to think maybe this just wasn't my purpose anymore because I had nothing to give anybody. Uh, I wound up taught I that this is where I learned about functional medicine. So everything serves, right? So I learned about functional medicine. I learned that I had amalgams that were most likely stealing my health, right? Throughout when I was a kid, I had a lot of mercury put in my teeth. So I learned that from Dr. Dan Pompa. Thank you, Dan. That was amazing. But it just kept unraveling. So I would get a little bit better when I worked on the dental component. And then I started getting these neurological symptoms. Then I wasn't sleeping. I probably went about 2 years sleeping about 2 to 3 hours a night. And then I learned I had Lyme. And when I started healing that, we then found mold in our home. I then learned that mold triggers Lyme and makes your symptoms worse. So there was a time where I thought I had MS because I had similar symptoms. It was a roller coaster. I went through every emotion you could imagine. Again, you said it in the beginning of this interview, right? That we live this chiropractic lifestyle. This isn't supposed to happen to us.
Mhm.
It happens
Yeah.
to other people. It doesn't happen to us. I was doing everything right. How could this have happened? Uh, Anger, guilt. I feel as though when I graduated, I made uh, I don't know, a pact with the universe, right? That I was going to change the world.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, I couldn't change a thing, right? I wasn't doing anybody any good. My kids too, right? So I had to totally stop. And I think if, we're sharing to the women in chiropractic, I think this is really big because we do live in a culture that teaches us that we are worthy if we're producing, if we're creating value, if we're helping people, especially as women, if we're the helpers. uh, I had to relearn all of that, and I had to slow down. And I remember patient Gary B came in one day, and he was just ranting to me. He was just rushing and rushing and rushing. And he finally sat down, he got adjusted, and he said, I don't get it. He said, where are we all going? Where are we all rushing to? Like to our death? Like, why are we trying to rush through life? And that was very powerful because that was at a time I wasn't feeling that great. Mind you, I still looked fine, right?
Mhm.
This isn't, these things I'm talking about don't show up really physically. So people still think you're okay. I still
Mhm.
had a staff that was, totally packing my schedule, going, you can do it, Dr. T. You've
Mhm.
got this. Because no one really understood. I had to totally slow down. And I thank Gary for that little aha moment. Because again, here I am so frustrated thinking I'm doing all the things. But what do I tell my patients? We are mind, body, spirit, right? We're not human doings, we're human beings.
Mhm.
So the first half of my career, I spent working around the clock and I loved every minute of it. I never felt burnt. I felt like I was I was living out God's purpose for me. Um, but I also realized that in that hustle, I wasn't really doing anything for me. I was getting adjusted. I tell everybody needs to know, not really the people that are listening to the show, but I tell every single patient that if it weren't for chiropractic, I don't know where I'd be today.
Mhm.
Chiropractic and my brother taking over the practice when I really couldn't do it, right? But at the very least, it gave me that foundation of which to continue to heal. I already had a strong foundation going into this.
Yeah.
Turns out, I don't know when I got the tick bite. It could have been years ago. It was a chronic situation that became triggered over a series of stressful events. But either way, I found myself in a situation where I needed to literally come to a halt. And that was so hard. And my lessons in that were so many. You know, congruency was a big one because inside out is how we live, but I realized that a lot of what we preach. And of
Mhm.
course, I always knew that with health, but everything else was kind of outside in. And even the sicker I got, the more I looked to the gurus, like the more I kept thinking someone else had the answer.
Mhm.
Uh, and it took a lot of deep inner work, a lot of work with my life coach. I have a lot of, my life coach I have to thank. I think everybody needs some sort of mentoring, some sort of coaching. That she really pulled me through a lot and kept reminding me in my darkest days that God is using this, right? That God is using this for fuel. I will come back stronger. And it's really beautiful to see I'm on the other side. I still have some work to do. Sleep isn't great, but 6 hours, 7 hours a night is really good from 2 to 3. uh, Cognitive, not, I'm still working on it, but I'm getting there. But what I had to do was go from this mindset of I'm doing everything to who am I being? So I had to come back to myself. And I had to take a moment to stop pouring into everyone else and take all of that love and all of that energy and bring it back to me.
Yeah.
So,
Because I
yeah.
think we are problem solver, right? This is what we do all day long with our patients, and in your case with the kids and so forth. So I can only imagine how it must have been hard to not be able to solve your own problem. And I can only assume with your cognitive function not being there, that even if you had some knowledge, you can't even think through. I have a friend of mine who had a diagnosis of cancer years ago, and she phoned me up and she says, I need help. I can't think. And kind of took the lead with her for, a few weeks just so she can get her bearings and find out and figure out your her strategy. But I think it's just a normal feeling, considering the situation. And I so agree with you that we all need mentoring. I love that word more than probably coaching, because we need guidance, especially when it's new territory. So happy that you're on the other side, Tammy. And as you said, it's still a work in progress. And thank you for sharing this lesson. But from where you are right now, what's different about Tammy today versus Tammy 9 years ago on who you are?
Oh, so I dropped the superwoman image, belief, story. It's gone. I have a lot of help. I have a nanny a few days a week. She does my grocery shopping. She does a lot of the cooking. She does a lot of the cleaning. I get to just focus on my genius. I no longer have to be all things to all people. I get to spend my time and energy on my own self care, my own spirit, my practice members, and most importantly, my children. So I no longer go, go, go. I savor the transitions of life. I hope I could share this message really powerfully. Um, Life is meant to be enjoyed and truly lived. I have such a peace now. Years ago, peace to me seemed boring. I felt like, I'll be peaceful when I'm dead. I'll
Mhm.
sleep when I'm dead, right? And now, uh, that this sense of peace, there used to be a sense of angst. What was next? What did I have to do? And so now there's this calm, there's this peace that is beautiful for my own self, because I've regulated my nervous system. My nervous system feels calm, but I'm also transferring that energy to my practice and my children. So I get to see how that has shifted as well. I spend a lot of time in nature. I spend a lot of time in reflection. I do earthing every single day. I there there's not a day where meditation isn't a part of what I do. So yeah, that's huge. That's huge. A lot of the pretenses are gone, and it's just my heart. And that's where I'm living from now. Not my head, not what I should be doing, but every day I ask myself, what do I need? Right? Because you can't give from an empty cup. We all know
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah.
I've told people that for years. I'm just actually living it now.
Yeah. And we can feel it who's out of view, which is wow. Like it's just such a good reminder for us to live in the moment and be satisfied, because you said it at the beginning that we are taught that to be, successful, we have to be producing and always, and society, let alone in the chiropractic world, in society, it's just constant phone, constant dopamine hit, and what's next. So it is even more important now to, get out of the technology, go in nature, and make sure that we resource. I always say to my patient, why is it that we need a life event for us to pay attention to our health? And in your case, it's not like you had planned it. It's just sounds, by the sounds of it, a course of situation that had you, fortunately, have the perfect storm to have those symptoms. But I think it is part of what we could do as chiropractor is to shed some light for our patients on their behavior and hopefully teach them, but also empower them to take control of their health as best as they can. And also that, they're not humans doing, they're human beings, and bringing that component into your practice. How are you doing it, Tammy? Like if I went to your practice 9 years ago and I'm in your practice now, what does it look like?
So I actually have breaks in my main shifts
Okay.
where I'm just, the break is for me. I'm not going from now. I do have blocks of patients that I see, and then I will take a little break. And years back, my break would be okay, let me answer some emails. No, there's no technology. It's just breathing. It's breathing, it's recentering, it's just reminding myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to stay centered and grounded. I am the best chiropractor I've ever been right now, right? And I'm seeing more people than I have in a really long time because I had to work my way back up to that, right? But I mean, we have a waiting list right now for new patients to come on in, which is great. I mean, I don't want them to wait all that long, but it's where I'm at. But I have boundaries around that. Whereas before, okay, I don't want the new patient to wait. Maybe I even came from a scarcity mindset that maybe they'd go somewhere else. I mean, there's none of that anymore. So before I'd maybe come in a little bit earlier, maybe I'd stay a little bit later. Now it's no, here it is. Here it is. Because I still have to take care of me too. So that's really important. And even though I've always been pediatrics and pregnancy, I have more moms and babies now than ever. And I think it's because I can relate. I couldn't relate to the moms before. Um, well, even though I was them, I didn't think I was in my in my mind. It's I don't know what you call that, but being in that position, I now see it so clearly, and I come from a place, I've lived it, I have been there, and I can help them, right? So, and
Yeah.
I tell them just what you said. I Please don't wait for a life event to
Yeah.
change everything. um, I do believe we learn the most through adversity. I do believe that. And I no longer fear adversity. I know I have such a confidence in myself now, um, that I can handle it. That was a huge thing my life coach said to me at one point. She's like, "Do you hear yourself years ago when something happens, the first thing you say is, 'Oh no, I don't think I can handle this.'"
Mhm.
Change that self talk. And then I had to live it to show that no, I can handle it. And if I don't have the answers, I will find someone that does, but I can handle it. So I get to impart that wisdom onto my new moms, especially, and remind them what I had to be reminded of is that we are powerful, magical, sacred beings to take care of their minds and their spirit as well as their body, and never ever forget, never forget that that exists within each and every one of us, you know.
That is powerful. So, I mean, we could chat for hours on your practice and so forth. Um, if there's younger female chiropractors, you've been in practice 26, I'm on 27, and is there, if you were listening to this 15 years ago, we'll go even further. What do you think you could hear that would have an impact on designing your practice and designing your career? And I know sometimes we have to hit a wall. Unfortunately, that's just our patient, ourselves included. Sometime, I mean, we do need that hard stuff. But what would you want to share with the young female chiropractors that are maybe juggling it all right now? Like a couple with wisdom, pearls of wisdom.
Find your boundaries,
Mm.
take care of yourself. We and be in integrity with the message that you're giving your patients. So if you're telling your patients to slow down and do certain stress relieving techniques, and you better be doing it. And
Mm.
um, you don't need all the things. I mean, I wish I would have known that. I would have saved myself thousands and thousands of dollars. What I need are my hands, my heart.
Yeah.
I need to speak, words that come from the heart, enter the heart, right? So I don't want to talk to the parents from this doctorly book smart place. I'm talking to them from my heart, what I know to be true. Whoever in a conversation, the person with the most certainty wins. So being certain of who you are, what you have to offer, knowing that children need us now more than ever,
Mm.
helping parents understand their own stress responses, how that's wiring into their children, how that stress response gets stuck. If it gets stuck within those first 3 years of life, they could literally spend the rest of their lifetime dealing with the consequences of chronic stress and chronic fight or flight. Uh, but most importantly, you've got your hands, you've got your heart, you've got good communication. I love the CLA technologies. I think that's important.
Mm.
Constantly bringing it back to the nervous system, and be the person who, if find someone to emulate, or just know in your heart who the highest vision of yourself is, and live into that every day. That's so
Wow,
powerful.
I can't add much to that. This was so empowering, Tammy. So thank you so much for sharing your insight and being raw about your situation as well, and not being shy to share. I think that this shows so much strength from you to be able to do that. So I thank you. I probably needed to hear that today, and to slow down. So thank you so much, Tammy. If people want to reach you, I'm sure your clinic is in New Jersey. If they want to
Yes.
chat with you, I know my door is always open to other female chiropractors. My email is drnally@drnallybeauchamp.com. What is your email, Tammy, if people want to reach you?
They can either do Chiro Tammy, CHIROTAMI 72 at gmail.com. They can go onto our website, which is totalwellnessofnj.com. And I am actually going to be looking for a female associate soon. So if someone's looking for that, reach out to me as well.
There we go. Again, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks. So this was Dr. Natalie Beauchamp with my good friend, Dr. Tammy Hartman. Thank you so much for tuning in to Empowering Women in Chiropractic. And thanks again to ChiroSecure for putting these shows together. And don't be shy to reach out if you have any comments or questions. within the chiropractic world, we're really all about sharing. So reach out if you have any questions or if you would like to discuss any of the points discussed today further. Thank you very much.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. We hope you enjoyed this week's Facebook Live event. Please like us on Facebook, comment, and share. We look forward to seeing all of you next week for another episode of Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Now, go ahead and hit the share button and tell your friends and colleagues about the show. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. This has been a Chiro Secure production.